Yo, what's up, everybody? How you doing? This is your Coach Renz. Coach Renz, we're going live for about 20 minutes. And I was going to do this video as a regular video, but I wanted to do this live real quick. I know that some people are going to be watching the NBA draft. I'm going to be watching a little bit of it just to my Hawks select. But, you know, what we're going to talk about tonight, real quick, is the idea of how to break through when you find yourself going through this situation. I mean, 2020 was supposed to be this year of clarity. Let me get my glasses on. We supposed to see 2020. We supposed to see clearly in 2020. And it was all this hype at the beginning of the year because 2020 is going to be this great year for everybody, and it was going to bring so much clarity. And I think it did bring clarity, but not in a way that many people think of clarity. I think it brought some clarity that we didn't want. So it reminded me because, and before I go any further, I want to thank everybody who subscribes to the channel. Continue to subscribe to the channel. We want to hit 5,500 subscribers by the end of the year, and that's a lot because we're at 5211 right now. So hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. It helps the video algorithm, especially if you're watching this later. But 2020 really epitomizes the idea of Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law, basically, if anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. And the second end of that is it will go wrong at the exact wrong time. When you least need everything to go wrong, that's when it's going to go wrong. And for many people, that's what 2020 has been. It's been that way for your health. It's been that way with COVID. It's been that way with the economy. It's been that way with this election in America. It's been that way in people's relationship. It's been that way in so many areas of people's lives that 2020 has been, horrendous. So many people, Kobe Bryant and all these people passed. Alex Trebek just passed away not too long ago. So it's been rough. It's been rough. If anything can go wrong in 2020, it has. It has. And I'm not excluded from it. I'm not excluded from it. I've had some rough things happen for me this year in 2020. But last night I had this dream. I don't usually get on here and talk about my dreams. Y'all know that. If you follow me, if you watch enough of my videos, you know I don't talk about my dreams. But I had this dream last night, and I'm going to give you guys a description of it. I had this dream. There was this tiny, like, negative ball of energy, and it started rolling. And as it rolled, it started picking up stuff. It wasn't picking up more negative energy. It was just picking up stuff. It was picking up rocks. It was picking up dirt. It was picking up sticks. It was picking up leaves. It was just picking stuff up as it rolled. And as it rolled and got bigger and bigger, it started destroying the street, and it started destroying the neighborhoods, and it started destroying the cities. And then it was destroying everything in its way. And when I first saw it, I came up, and it already was rolling and kind of big. And I first saw it, and I rolled up to it, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. I did have one technique of kind of like chipping away at it, knocking it down some, and it happened, and it worked. But then it just kept rolling, though. It kept rolling, and it picked up more and more stuff and got bigger. But this time I came back to attack it the same way, and guess what? None of my attacks worked. It was totally different now. So I had to figure out a new way to attack it. So I'm trying to figure a new way to attack it. And I'm chipping off the outside shell of it. I'm knocking off some sticks. I'm knocking off some dirt, some rocks, but I'm never getting to this core. And so, and I go through this cycle like 6 or 7 times before I just realize this thing is just rolling and it's out of control. And there's absolutely nothing much I can do to stop it from rolling. But then I look over to my right, and I see like a snowflake come down. And this snowflake lands in pristine powder snow. Now, if you know me, you know I hate the cold. And I go over to it, and I make a beautiful little snowball, and I start rolling in the snow, and it's picking up more and more snow, and it's all nice, and it's clean, and it's pretty. And I start rolling that around, and it starts building, and then it makes the neighborhood nicer. It builds a whole city. The nice snowball, the nice ball of energy, of positive snowball energy, starts building this. It was light. It was like light, and it starts building this beautiful, illuminated city around me. And then I just stopped focusing on the negative big turd ball that was destroying the city, and I just focused on the one that was um, building, that was creating, that was doing wonderful and doing great. And then after a while, I couldn't even see the destruction. I couldn't even feel destruction. The negative, big, giant, nasty ball was gone somewhere. And the only thing that I saw, the only thing I lived with, the only thing I dealt with was this positive light of energy that was just building and building, just snowballing and snowballing and snowballing. And so when I woke up, the first thing came to my mind, and I woke up at 4 o'clock this morning. The first thing came to my mind was a client that I used to work with way back when I used to own a gym, right? And I'm still under an NDA. But when I used to own a gym, there was a particular NBA player that when he was in town during the season and during the off season, he would come to my gym and I would work with him with his flexibility as well as life coaching. And there was one game he was coming in, he was going through, he had like a 5-game rut. And they came into my city. They was getting ready to play, and I'm not going to make it long, but we talked. And I told him, I said, look, I know your coaches are telling you, let your game come to you, relax. We meditated. We're doing all these things. I know your coaches are telling you that. But what I'm saying, in addition to that, focus on the one thing that hasn't been a rut. What is something you've been doing? What is something that's happened that hasn't been a negative? I know your scoring is off. I know that your assists are off. Your rebounds off. What's something that's not off? I already knew the answer because I watched him since he was my client. And he was like, my defense, playing defense. Whoever I guard, they have not been able to, really score. They're below average. And I said, tonight when you play, I just need you to focus on that. Just focus on your defense. Yeah, the game's going to come to you when you do that, but just focus on your defense. Even when your offense starts going well, just focus on your defense. Keep going back to that one thing that is working for you. And so he did that. That Joker went and scored 41 points that night and scored the game-winning shot against my team. It was all right, but the thing about it is, in this dream, that big negative ball that picked up. You see, the reason why the Murphy's Law works is because you have one incident, one issue, and that one incident, that one issue begins to snowball, and it begins to grow and grow and grow. And I'm not even gonna call it a snowball because the snowball is nice and clean. That one incident, the little shit turd thing that happened, it starts building, it starts rolling downhill, and it starts picking up sticks, and it picks up leaves. And there's nothing wrong with sticks. There's nothing wrong with leaves. There's nothing wrong with dirt. But it starts picking these things up, and it gets bigger and bigger and starts destroying and destroying. For instance, COVID started out in Wuhan, China, is what we're told. From one issue, one incident, one locality, it was allowed to go out of control and then spread across the world. Doesn't matter what your thought process is on it. Doesn't matter any of those things. Have people die from it? Yes. Has it affected millions of people? Yes. Is it only affecting 1% of the people to the point of death? Yes. But still, the point is, one small issue created this big issue of first sickness. Then it created a big issue of economic downturn around the world. And it just continued to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It created an issue with elections and politicians and all these things, and so many other negative things seem to gravitate towards 2020, start to gravitate towards this one thing that snowballed, and it's a whole kaleidoscope now of things that is negative, right? So where does that lead us? The thing about it is that if you want to change and break Murphy's Law, then you go opposite of what creates Murphy's Law. If one thing can shit turd ball into this negative environment, then in your life, you can either try to find that one thing and try to get to the core of it and try to work through it and get through all the crap, through all the residual. Like when I had a tree in my backyard in Florida, it was a beautiful grapefruit tree. It was producing, it was harvesting, and it was great. I love them things. But then I started noticing it produced less and less fruit. Instead of me going to the root cause, I was working on the symptoms of the branches and making sure it was trimmed. The old hovering trees were trimmed, make sure it gets light. But what I didn't know is that carpenter ants were eating the root. And I didn't fight the root. I was fighting all the symptoms, all the external things. And oftentimes, when we have an issue at work, we have an issue with our relationship, we have an issue with our business, we start doing all these external things to try to fix the problem. But we got to go to the root of the issue if you can. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't. We're going to get to the can't. But if you can, like at my business right here, Uncle Renz Popcorn, the last 2 weeks haven't been that great, right? Since the election, everybody was freaked out with the election, and all of a sudden, commerce in this area just slowed down. I've talked to other business owners. Commerce in this area completely just slowed down. So what I did was, instead of going out and saying, let me have a flash sale, let me do a BOGO, let me do coupons, let me do all these, I went back and I said, when I started in this location, what got me to where I was producing, where customers came in? What gave them that drive to come in the store? What's the route that I can get to of marketing? And that's what I started doing 3 days ago, getting back to that route, back to that route. And yeah, the first day it didn't matter. The second day it didn't matter. But the third day and the fourth day, the business starts rolling back in the door. Why? Because I was able to get to the root. I didn't try to do the periphery stuff. So if you got an issue, don't deal with the periphery. If you can get to the root, get to the root, and you will break Murphy's Law. You will break that shit turd ball up, and that will allow it to all dissipate. That's hard work. If you can get to the root, if it's something you can change, there are certain times where you can't change it. You can't change it. And oftentimes, this is the easier way. It's the easier way. If you can do it, if you're willing to make massive change, if you're willing to divert your focus to the pristine, to the positive, to say that, okay, what is the one thing that's going well in my life right now? What is the things that are doing great in my life? Maybe my relationship with my children aren't going great, but my relationship with my spouse is. Maybe my relationship with my spouse isn't going great, but my relationship with my kids are. Maybe my relationship with my external family isn't, but my relationship with my coworkers is. Maybe my ability to finish projects is going well, but my ability to handle the details isn't. Let me get to what is working well for me and focus on that. Just like I told this NBA guy, focus on the one thing that's been going great. And that was his defense. And he focused on defense and he scored 41 points that night. He shut down his opponent defensively. The next game, he scored 30 points. The next game, he scored 25. The next game, he scored like 37. He kept on that pace because he kept focusing on that one thing, and it began to snowball. But it didn't pick up a lot of negative stuff. It picked up all more positive, more positive. So if you find the one thing you can focus on, you can break Murphy's Law by focusing in on what is going great in my life right now. What am I doing effectively? I know hell is going on around me. I know chaos is going on around me. I don't know how things are going to be in the next 6 months, next 3 months. But what I'm going to focus on is what's moving me forward. It's one area. Maybe you've been going to the gym religiously and your body is receiving it and your stress level is going down but your work is horrible. Your relationship with your spouse is horrible. Your kids is horrible. Everything else is like in the wind going negative, but you got this one thing. Focus on that. Keep working on that. Let your energy be focused there. And then what will happen is you'll start taking that positive energy and let it overshadow the rest of your life. Unlike a snowball in my dream or a negative turd ball in my dream that's destroying everything, in reality, we can when we make massive changes in a positive and keep focusing on that positive, it will begin to overshadow all the negative. It's kind of like light in the dark. Many people will say that, what is the saying? All the darkness in the universe can't extinguish the light of one candle. But let's be real. If it's just one candle, it can only brighten up so much of the universe. It can only brighten up so much of that darkness. But what we can do is let the candle that we light in our workout begin to light the candle in our work, begin to light the candle in our relationship with our children, begin to light the candle with our relationship with our spouse, begin to light the candle with our relationship with our coworkers, begin to light the candle in every other aspect of your life. And when you do that, and the more you do that, that candle, all those candles together begin to spread the light, begin to create an illuminated environment. It spreads the light more. And that's how we can change it, because we are not base animals, because we're not base nature, because we have that ability as thinking, conscious, divine, spiritual beings. We can light up the world by lighting multiple candles, by building bigger flames, by adding more fuel to it, by focusing on what we are doing well instead of focusing on what's negative. When I give people business coaching advice, I tell them, I say, look, as far as I'm concerned, handling the details, that's not me. I'm not a details guy. I'm a big picture guy. I'm a big picture guy. If you want me to fail, let me have to remain handling all the different smaller details of this company. If I have to do that, I'm going to become stagnant and I'm only going to go so high. But so that means the moment I can pay somebody else to handle all the making of the popcorn, I need to get somebody doing that. The moment I can have somebody, handling the front of the house, I have somebody doing that. The moment I can have somebody focus on doing all the paperwork, then I can just focus on growth and customer service and developing. Then you'll see my company develop faster and faster and faster. And that's the process that I'm on. So instead of paying myself, like, I can sit here and I can do all the work and I can put more money in my pocket, but that's going to keep me stagnant. I have to be able to focus on what I'm good at, focus on where my talent actually lies. And because I realize that, and I'm telling you the exact same thing, you do that in your life and you will grow. You will grow. You will grow tremendously. Your light will shine brighter. You won't be trying to fix the turd ball that's rolling down the street, destroying everything. Instead, you're focused on what's great in your life. That's how you break Murphy's Law. That's how you break it. And here's the thing, regardless of which direction you go, you got to apply massive action to it. You got to get the facts, you got to get the understanding of those facts, and then you have to apply with wisdom massive action. Otherwise, the curveball gonna keep destroying your life, and you're never gonna get any traction with the positive part. You're just gonna get enough to keep you from being too miserable with the turd ball. That's what's gonna happen. You're gonna get enough light so that you're not too miserable with the turd ball. This is people who continue to make excuses for why their lives aren't moving. Continue to make excuses why they haven't made changes in their life. Oh, I just can't get this 5 pounds off. Oh, this is just the way I am. This is just how I was raised. This is just how America is. This is just how racist people this or that is. Hey, you know what? If you don't like the racism in America like I don't, guess what? A massive move would be to move out of this country. There are so many countries where you can do so much better and you don't have to deal with the stress of this. You can leave. And here's the thing. I don't give two rats asses what anybody thinks about it. And that's another key. You want to break Murphy's Law? Don't care what other people think about your massive action. Take your massive action. Go do your massive action. If your brother don't like it, so. If your sister don't like it, and if your mama don't like it, she'll be all right. Your kids don't like it, they'll get over it. If the people who follow you got something to say about it, let me tell y'all something. Whatever I decide to do in my life, if y'all say, well, I don't want to follow you no more, I'll say, you know what? I appreciate the time that you were there. Sorry we have this difference, but hey, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I can't live my life for you, just like you should never live your life for me. You can't care what other people say, do, or think concerning how you move in massive action, because happiness, getting to the state of being in happiness constantly, is something that only you can do for you. Nobody can bring that to you. Nobody can make that for you. You are the only one who can do it. And when you do, it only happens if you don't care what other people think about it. You can't. One of my good friends, he's a polygamist. You think he cares what other people think? But everybody and their mama wanted to have something to say about it. Negative, negative, negative. There were a lot of positive, but some people want to have negative, negative, as if it's supposed to matter. When he wakes up, he doesn't wake up with them. When he goes to the market, he doesn't go to the market with them. So why should it matter what other people think? It shouldn't matter. If another person, there's another gentleman I know. He's doing very well in real estate right now. He's gay, and if he cared about what other people think, then he wouldn't be as successful as he is in real estate because he would be caring about what other people think. Well, they're not going to buy from you because you want to go out to these suburbs and sell real estate. They're not going to buy from you. You're gay. These are husband, wife, family situation structures. If he let that hold him back, he would never be as successful as he is right now. But instead, he's out there and he's grinding. I watch this joker sell houses dang near every week. He's selling a house or he's somebody's buying a house. So he doesn't allow for other people's opinions to determine who he is, and you can't do the same thing. If you do that, you're going to continue to fall as a prey to Murphy's law. You're going to continue to suffer. Gandhi said, because he had reached a state of mind where suffering wasn't part of his being anymore, he said that instead of going to heaven, he'd rather go to hell. That way he can show the people in hell how not to suffer. He was so confident in his ability to not suffer, to not care what other people said, that he made that kind of a statement where other people are like, what? Are you crazy? But his state of mind, his state of being was like, it doesn't matter what you think. I know who I am. I know what is, and that's what I'm going to do, and that's how I'm going to live. You got to get to that state. You have to get to that state. There's a guy, he has a business series. I forgot what his name is, Asian guy from Toronto. And he wrote a book called FU Money, right? You got to have FU money. And so when you have enough money where you do whatever you want to do, and it's like, FU, I don't care what you say. It's not about having the money to do that. It's about having the mentality. You got to get the mentality before you get the money. You got to get the mentality before you get the lifestyle. And if you want that lifestyle, just like in my dream, I decided I was going to focus on all positive. I was going to focus on what I can do and on the things that were at hand that I can create greatness in my life. I was not going to focus on the big shit turd ball that was rolling down the street, destroying everything. I was going to focus on what was illuminating, what was bringing greatness and light and happiness and joy and love into my life. And that's all I was going to focus on. All that other stuff didn't matter. The other people who were around and they had their opinions and their thoughts, they didn't matter either. I just didn't focus on any of those things. And everything worked out great. Now we only got a few more minutes, about 8 minutes before I got to shut this one down. And then I gotta be somewhere at 9:30. So if you got any questions, thoughts, comments. Anonymous Knowledge Seeker said, Coach, are you saying don't care what other people say or think based on your positive actions? Yes, I am. I'm saying whatever you're doing that is a positive for you, it doesn't matter what other people say or think. It doesn't matter how they say or think, because your life is only for you to live. They can't live your life for you. And at the end of the day, okay, let me give you an example. Today it was 37 degrees here in Atlanta. It was cold. Yesterday, there was a young lady came into my store from the Virgin Islands. So this morning when I woke up, my mind was saying, you know what? I need within 3 years for my business to be in a state where I can legit, if I'm not already living in the Virgin Islands or living in Africa, where I can at minimum, because my son is going to help me to build my company, and I want to be, he's only 19, so I don't want to be too far from him for probably about 7 more years. I want to legit not have to deal with winter ever again. So I need to be able to live in the winter. Now, I mean, live in spring, summer, all year round. I was talking to my mom earlier today, and my mother was saying that you don't want to live like that. That's going back and forth, and you gonna come. What about the holidays? You're gonna come for the holidays. You're gonna be cold when you come for the holidays. And I told her, I said, I may not come for the holidays, but that's a big family time for us and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, Mom, here's the deal. I ain't living for y'all and I ain't living for the holidays. You can come down there and hang out with me for the holidays, but I'm not coming to winter. My goal is to not see or deal with winter. I don't like cold. I'm mad right now that when I leave my store, I didn't set the car for the heater to be on. So it doesn't even matter if I do the automatic start. It's not going to be warm, you know? So I told my mom, I don't care. Mom, it doesn't matter what you think. I'm leaving. I'm not doing winter. I love you, but gotta go. But yeah, and in everything, in everything. Um, there were people that I had dated years and years ago when I first the back like way back, and it was a nice young lady and everything was going great. I had told her I wasn't having any children, and then she, after a few months of us being together, started talking about, well, you can get your vasectomy reversed, and now the percentages are higher and all this kind of stuff. I was like, you know what, this is not gonna work. I was out. I told you no kids. I'm not having any kids. I don't know what you're talking about. Why you even talk about that? I told you that in the very beginning. Are you serious? You come at me with this now? You let me waste my time with you? I was pissed because I was like, I told you that in the beginning. And regardless of how nice she was, regardless of how things were going, no, that was a deal breaker. And I told you. So I didn't care what she thought. I didn't care what other people thought. I rolled. And you got to. You got to. This, I put open up. If you go and research Uncle Renz popcorn, you'll see multiple locations. You'll see a whole bunch of them closed down. Some people have said you just need to shut it all down and give up. I give up when I think I should give up, which I'm not, because I see the value of it. I see what it does. But if I, even if I didn't, I'll give up when I want to. I'll stop if I decide to. It doesn't matter what you think. Now I did my P&L for October today. I'm looking at my P&L like, y'all don't see what I see. I see my P&L. So even though other people are like, how you making, you selling popcorn? Really? Popcorn? You know how many people come and they're like, are you really making enough money selling popcorn? I mean, how can you make enough money selling popcorn? The guy did it today. Are you really doing good business? I mean, you're only selling popcorn. I mean, there's people don't really eat that much popcorn. I mean, just straight negative, right? There was a lady who came in the other day. She had straight negative stuff. I was like, you can leave. You can get out. And I don't care. You can leave. Don't come in my store and start talking about how this is not gonna work. So that's your opinion. Get out. I don't need you. And I used to be afraid to say that kind of stuff to people. But I realized that people will try to stomp on your dream, try to stomp on your positivity, try to stomp on your movements that makes you happy, just so that you can stay in the same misery that they're in. And I refuse to allow that. I hope you guys saw my video the other day I did about being happy. And I was talking about Mr. Robert Overton. His defining message with his 12 plus cigar smoking self a day, with his 4 cups of coffee drinking self a day, with his 4 cups of whiskey drinking self a day, with his ice cream, butter pecan ice cream every night eating self at 109 years old. He said constantly, he smokes, he drinks coffee, he drinks whiskey, he eats ice cream, he loves sugar. He does all those things because it makes him happy. And he was 109, still driving, still walking, still talking, without a nurse. He didn't even get a nurse until he was like 111, and he died at 112. So he did consistently what made him happy and didn't worry about what other people thought, because he managed his state of stress. So I know I went like all over that one, but that is such an important thing. It is so important that you cannot care what other people think. You can't. You can't. It will destroy you. You can't care about what other people's opinion of you are. Whatever decision you make today, whatever decision you make tomorrow, whatever decisions you made in the past, if people still try to shame you for it, you can never unleash yourself if you're still living in shame or guilt or fear. You got to let all that go so that you can go and live your greatness. And whatever your greatness is whatever you decide. Whatever you decide. Like for me, I know I need a lot of money. I'll be honest with you. I need a lot of money. It's not that I'm materialistic. One, if I want to go somewhere, I want to be able to go. I don't want cost to be a reason. Two, I like experiences. I need a lot of money for the experiences I want to have. Me and my son, after 5 years, he did want to take a 2-year break. And after 5 years of working with me, he said he wanted to go up to Nepal and live with the monks for about 3 years. And he wants to learn from their wisdom, take in that wisdom, and then come back. And I told him, if you're in 5 years, if that's what you still want to do, that's fine. You know how many people, if he was white and he was going to do that, people like, oh yeah, white people do that. If he's Asian, oh yeah, people Asian. But a black man doing that, people gonna look at him like he's strange. And I told him, I said, when you say that I said, the one, don't say it to everybody, but for the people you say it to, if they look at you strange, if they start questioning, turn them on. Do what makes you happy, sir. Do what makes you happy. I'm gonna be a little irritated that I'm gonna build you up in this company, then you're gonna leave for 2 years and then you gotta come back. But it's all right. We'll build a second in command for you. Somebody who can handle it until you get back. Not a problem. So, don't care what other people think. You gotta do you. You gotta do you. At the end of the day, it's your life. It's nobody else's. Now I said I was gonna do this for 30 minutes. It's 8:59. I gotta be somewhere. It's gonna take me 20 minutes to get there. And and I don't like being late. Late don't work for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had shot it as a regular video earlier, but I didn't like the way it came out. So I was like, you know what? We're just going to talk about it live. And I plan on doing a lot more lives. I'd rather do lives than do regular edited videos, unless I'm doing a teaching video. Then sometimes, well, actually, I had that one too. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm going to do a lot more lives. A lot of them are going to be around this time when I close my shop down, or maybe early in the morning. We'll see. But hey, I appreciate you guys. Remember, you always got to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. And I thank you for subscribing to the channel. Continue to subscribe. Hit the thumbs up button at the end so that the YouTube algorithm will share this even more. Take care of yourselves. I'm almost there. I've lost 15 pounds recently because I went back to being 95% vegetarian. And I want to share that journey with you guys a little bit at a later date. And for you to see like the transformation of my energy and how, just not just about how I look, it's the energy and everything. And just a lot of the meditations I've been doing to just release a lot of stress. I've had a lot of stress over this last year. And so, just releasing a lot of that. My shoulders actually went down. They had been so tight, and I was tight here, and it's all just very relaxing. So we're going to move forward with a lot of things in the next upcoming year. And I appreciate that. I have a whole nother channel that I started. I can't tell you about it because me and my nephew made a bet. So I can't tell you what the channel is. You kind of just got to find it. And hopefully you find it. But y'all have a great day. Remember, you got to free yourself to be yourself. Your greatness is non-negotiable. So good vibrations and good journey.